Hi, Alina from the library here. I'm in an undisclosed location. Well, actually, I'm in the building of where I live, but I wanted to talk to you today about worms. You know, worms are very important for the garden, and there's two kinds of worms. Earthworms that are in the ground and they burrow through and they create aeration, and they're, let's call it castings, fertilize the soil. But the other kind of worms, the ones I really like myself, are red wiggler composting worms. And you can observe worms and learn a lot about them, but you can do it one of two ways. You can order a kit like this from, I got this from that big retailer on the internet. Its name is kind of like a river, but it's not the Mississippi. And what you get when you order that is you get a little plastic tube like this and a piece of paper that says light blocker, which it's not all that exciting. It's got a cute little drawing of a worm, but it's to keep the container dark. And then you get a coupon to send more money to get some worms. But the other way that you can do it is you can make your own. So all you need to do is get a clear plastic jug like this. This is from a water jug from the Dollar Tree, or you can use a 2-liter soda bottle, something like that, and cut it off, and you're going to fill it with layers of sand and peat or core. And core, it looks like this. You get it at a garden center. This is about a half of a brick of them, and I don't need that much because I just have a little composting worm operation here. So you get this, you put it in water, and it expands overnight into a big pile of sort of dirt-like stuff. And you should put some sand or something in there too to give it a little grit, because the worms like that. And then you can add some worms. So what do I need to add some worms? Well, here I have a couple of red wiggler composting worms to show you. Can you see that? Aren't they beauties? Look at them. They're clinging to their mud here, and they're upset because they're out of their container. They're a little bit stunned in the light, but we have some nice, they look like I'm showing you linguine, but I'm not. I'm showing you red wiggler composting worms. Can you see it? And the reason I'm wearing gloves is not because there's anything harmful with the worms. It's because I'm digging in the dirt, and I just don't want my hands to be all brown and dirty. But you can see this worm is crawling over here. See him? Or her. Or him, her. But anyhow, you can get some composting worms from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm, which is a Pennsylvania company out in central Pennsylvania. Or you can get them from a bait shop. Or if you know somebody who has a compost pile, they probably already have some free red wiggler worms that you could get from their pile. They just kind of show up. But if you wanted a bigger observation, now this isn't like a composting bin where you could get a whole family's compost going. You can find things on the internet of how to make those. You take a 10-gallon Rubbermaid tote, actually 2 of them, you drill some holes to give it aeration. But you can also find instructions for making one like this out of just a sweater box that you'd get at the Dollar General. Drill some holes in the bottom, you put the lid down to be the tray to catch any liquids and things. Fill it up with the core, or you can also use newspaper, just regular newspaper cut into strips, and fill it up, cover it with some burlap, some moist burlap, and then every couple of days you put some things in. Now, do you remember last week I said we'd have a reappearance of our petals? So for instance, petals from a flower arrangement are really a favorite thing for the bacteria that decompose, that the worms then eat the bacteria. And one thing that's kind of fun, if you have that big flat kind of composting bin, what you do is you put one pile on the left one week, and the next week a pile on the right, but then you look at what you put in on the left, and you can see how much has gone and what fruits or vegetables. So for instance, if I'm putting a rose leaf in and a lily leaf, the rose might go faster, the lily might go faster. Don't know. But that's part of the observation, and that's what makes it science-y. Now if you're saying, I'm not so interested in the sciencey part. I also have a little worm craft. This is one that's good for a younger child, but you just take a piece of paper and you fold it like an accordion, and you can use chopsticks or bamboo skewers, or I used unsharpened pencils, and you can mimic the way that a worm moves because they expand and then they contract and they expand and they contract and they expand. Oh, well, you got the idea. Anyhow, so that's this week's Garden Steam. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you consider looking at some worms. I bet you'd like it.